Hi, this is Mike, and we are looking at Stellar XLM. Okay, so recently I've been doing things to try and pull out the view that's the right view, the one that ends up being the real view for XLM Lumen, right? The lumens, because the lumens could potentially be the next world reserve currency, right? We don't know for sure, right? But it could be. It's a pretty strong contender in that it's fast. It's used by the people, and it just could easily replace the rubbish we use today. But not here to talk about that. Here to talk about this view, right? Because one thing you have to understand when you look back in the future to what you've done in analysis terms, you've got to realize that, well, in reality, there is only one end result for the pattern observed. There is only ever one pattern that is the right, pattern that you observed. For me, I try to find that pattern. Okay, I will go through iterations and iterations of analysis before I eventually get there. And if it's time to get there, then when we should try and get there. And why should we try and get there? Because you need to make money, to make money, to make money, to make money, right? So this is a great way to increase your wealth, a great way to increase your understanding of the waves, and to just generally just feel like you can do it whenever you need to do it and you have the ability. So in this particular view, there's a couple of things going on. One is that this is just a series of 1-2 bases basing out since the lows. Like 1-1-2, 1-2-1-2, right? Consistently higher highs. You can't break certain rules though. What are the rules? We can't go below March 2020 low. Okay, that is the end of wave two according to this view. Why did this eye bounce the way it did? Well, when you think about it, it had to break above the start of wave E to confirm that that's what happened, right? We had to confirm it, and we did confirm it, and we broke back down. Okay, it's all right in hindsight to see this, but that's okay because what's coming next is going to be way better than anything that we've seen since I started to cover cryptos in late 2020, right? So all good. We've got confirmation that wave two low is in place according to this view, according to my opinion. I'm not a financial advisor. So what made me think that this is 1-2 at the lows? Okay, now this is where we got to go down to 4 hours, I think. Well, maybe the daily chart to start with. So in terms of the way that I called this fractal pattern the way I did, and assumed that it's a 1-2-3 with a 4 and a 5 unfolding. Well, it's had to take some time for this thing to just evolve to the point where I can start to see, is there anything else it can be, right? And I try to stimulate every possible thing within me to try and find it. And I think that, subconsciously eventually it comes out. And I think that the way that I rewatch my videos, sometimes during rewatching my videos, something sticks out, and it sticks out. Sometimes it's better than other times, and other times it just changes the whole view. And in this case, it's just evolving the view into more bullishness, but evolving it in a way that you kind of helps you understand exactly what we're looking at and why it's sort of going to happen the way it's going to happen. And then in hindsight, it'll make sense, and it'll just be great, right? So here I took the idea that, yeah, we have the fractal pattern, which can happen. The corrective portion of a move can happen in the same in wave B as it does in wave 2 or 4. So this being a potential 1, 2, 3, I thought, well, hang on a minute. Now you've just made it so you've got a wave A, and it's perfect. Wave A is perfect, right? So what happens is this little bounce here was wave B, right? This little zigzaggy pattern was a wave B. Oh my God, that's what that damn thing was the whole time. I was always wondering what it was, and the answer was right in front of me the whole time. It's because I'm so particular. I can't just guess that that's a wave B just by looking at it. So what is this now happening? It's in my opinion, it's a wave C. Okay. A wave C is unfolding. We've seen wave 1, 2, 3. We bounced up for wave 4. We didn't go into the price territory of wave 1 and 2. And I think that we're turning lower now. And what this was at the lows was, you would never believe it. It was mostly an A wave zigzag stretched out that took this to the highs that it went recently, and it was definitely a fake out wave. But in saying that, though, this entire area, in my opinion, is a buy zone, right? Anything under this line, in my opinion, is a buy zone. Okay. It won't be underneath this line for much longer, in my opinion, right? In my opinion, we're going to make one move lower to about 0.06, and I think that's it. I think that it'll bounce around this area. It'll probably come back down eventually at one point, especially when we talk about the thing that I expect that's coming. I'll talk to you about that shortly. Yeah, look, it's very interesting what's going on. I think there's a few things to consider during this time as well, which I'll get to. So let's go down to the 15-minute and look at this pattern, because it's crazy, I tell you. So first of all, I've drawn it out because this is my third attempt at making a video, actually. So here you have a 5-wave move for wave A. You have an A, small zigzag A. You have a B, C, D, E, and then you have the wave C. That's wave A, right? You have wave A up here. Then you have wave B. You have wave C. You notice how we never made another high. It's because it's not wave 5, right? Because it looks like a 5-wave move. It does. That's why I haven't posted about it, because I had a feeling there was something going on with this wave that's really funny, and now I know what it is. It's not what you think it is, put it that way. And this is why you should learn the waves. This is why what I do is not Elliott wave, not by any stretch of the imagination. It is not Elliott wave, right? You've got to learn how to do it. You know what to do. But the point is that it could be misconstrued. And if you want to be that kind of person who looks at something and thinks that it's something that it ends up being nothing to do with what you thought it was, just keep doing what you're doing, unless it's as good as this, which in that case, why are you watching my video? So A, B, C, D probably in progress now. Whatever D and E is coming, we probably won't go back above that where that red line is, right? I think we're going to come back down in wave C. So there's going to be a sharp. It's going to be a sharp wave 4 here, and then wave 5 down. So why is it sharp? Well, it's just alternation. Wave 2 was kind of sideways drawn out. Wave 4 is short and sharp. Okay, this is what I mean by the corrective patterns can occur in any manner, but they always occur nonetheless. Right now, putting all this together at every degree has been a challenge for the last couple of years, but you know what? I think it's going to be worth it in the end. So, as you know, I expect there to be another move down in the stock market, and we're also within the corrective pattern of the euro. So, I reckon that during that period of time, we're going to see corrective forces unleash the end of wave C, a D, and an E. Right, and I think that that E may be one of those E's that scare people again, just like 2020, and it'll unfold in a way that we don't really know just yet, but it's probably going to be sharp and another buying opportunity. And then that will be the last chance that you have to get into this as cheap as it is. Because what happens after 1 2 1 2 1 2, you get wave 3, third of a third wave up, and it goes so far up so quickly that it'll blow your socks off. And anyone who has any doubts as to how high it can go can literally just not follow me. Please go and find someone else to follow, because you have no idea what you're talking about. You literally just don't even have confidence in the market. So whatever kind of bear you are, or whatever kind of analysis you do, if it's got nothing to do with what I do, right, then good luck. If you think that this is not possible and it's just dreaming, well, that's what wealth will be to you for the rest of your life, just a dream. Because a lot of people will kill it, crush it in this move, and the people who really just have no idea and are just doubting things all the time and all that sort of thing, yeah, sorry, but you probably aren't destined for wealth, not just yet. Maybe in the future sometime, or maybe in the next life, who knows. But this type of opportunity, I don't think it comes very often. So to me, I think it's worthwhile to understand what it is, the pattern that we're looking at. no matter what it takes to get there, if you keep trying, you will succeed. I have been through ups and downs like you wouldn't believe to get to this point where I believe what I'm seeing now. All right. Now let's just talk quickly about this type of correction that we're seeing now versus the one we saw in, from 2018 to 2020, whatever. So the only thing that I can see that's really different about this, apart from now we have a weaker sort of wave two, which is more bullish, we also have a difference of how these waves unfolded. So if this unfolded A, B, C, D, and then E was the sharpest move down. So basically, you're taking this whole move down pretty sharp in a 5-wave move, basically. All right, which is why I did one time say it could be a 5-wave move. Now it's sort of become a little bit clearer that there's this pattern here has given it away, that the corrective process that's going on here can only mean that this is a wave two, right? And for it to be like a wave B, well, this whole thing down would need to be a B wave, which it's not. And then, sorry, what am I saying? This, yeah. So this whole move down would have to be an A wave if this was to be like a B wave up or a D wave up. You'd have to have like ABC in here, like just ABC in here, and then a D wave coming, and then maybe an E. Except I can't really argue against that point, but I don't think that's the case. I can't argue it in the sense that I look at a lot of different charts, and a lot of different charts are lining up in a way that suggests that yes, this happened the way it did because ABCD happened at the highs, and E took it down low. A wave here happened more toward the high and toward the low, and then the rest of the corrective pattern is happening in a choppy type weak kind of manner. Right, that's how I see it. And this is probably a good view and a good reason why it's happening the way it is. And it probably explains why this is going to be wave three next, is because we're running out of steam in this correction to the downside. It's almost like there's no more downside, right? So what else? So that there explains the difference between those corrections, and I think that it really tries to explain, the difficulty it had going down, but it had to do it, right? Because it's a wave two, right? So it's definitely a very deep correction, um, but it's crypto. So what's a deep correction, right? Everything is too deep in crypto, right? So you can't really go and try and say, oh, it's a deep correction. Yeah, they kind of all are. I don't think you can really. I don't think it really matters how you look at it. Every correction's deep. I think it's more of a long-term play. It's a long-term game, and this sort of pattern it sort of means that we're going up for a while, like for quite a while. Like you're gonna have to hold whatever it is you have and be extremely patient. Hopefully, you're satisfied with what you own by the time this moves higher, so then you can actually just be patient and wait, because that's what it's going to take. It's just going to take a lot of patience, right? Try and be happy to accumulate at these lows for the next few months or whatever. I'll keep tracking it. I'll keep looking at every market and trying to figure out how long we have, what it's going to take, all that sort of thing. But yeah, ultimately, it doesn't matter. Buy zone is now. Buy zone window is open for the next few months, I reckon. And then buy zone will be closed because this thing will be already up in the sky and really fast, because the RSI gets overbought really easily, so it has to move fast. It will move fast, I believe, and you can believe whatever reason there is behind it for it to move higher. I just think that that's a fool's game. I think that the pattern sort of tells us everything. The euro moving a lot higher soon tells us everything. The euro still in a corrective sort of state tells us that we still have a bit of time, maybe not much, but still there is some time. So this view here, to me, it's the most likely scenario. I don't know if there's anything else to mention about this really. There might be something else. I'll just put it in the next video, and I'll try and work on the XRP pattern a little bit more. I think it's very similar. I think it's the same sort of thing. But yeah, the reason it's taken this long to come up with this is I just literally figured this out in the last few hours, and I have tried to make video after video to explain it, but I've screwed up a few times and I've had to go back. So during the process of making the XLM videos, I realized what I was looking at in XRP, and then I saw it here, and then the rest is history. But over the next few videos, you'll start to see that emerge, and that's what happens. That's how my analysis evolves until the point where I want it to be actually being super helpful. So hopefully you found this video interesting and informative. Thank you for